Hello there. Today we are going to learn how to draw the centerline plan for a building. This particular building which you are seeing in the drawing is a load-bearing structure in which the foundation plan has been shown. So if we zoom into this, what you will see is that the walls consist of a 230 thick brick wall and the offsets of the foundations have been shown here. So this is a foundation plan. Now we want to draw the centers of all these walls for preparing an execution drawing for actually starting the work on the site. Now to prepare a centerline plan, it is essential that we establish a reference point or a point of origin. So normally what is done is that the lowermost corner, left-hand corner of the building is taken as the point of origin. The advantage of taking this lower left corner is that all the dimensions in the x direction and all the dimensions in the y direction are going to be positive dimensions. So let us now first establish this particular point as the origin point. So for this we are going to use a command called as UCS. So just pay attention here to the command prompt. Now what I will do is I will type in this command here, UCS, and enter. Now it is going to prompt me to give the let me do that again. Type in the command UCS and enter. Now what it is asking me is to specify a point. So I'll just zoom into this particular part of the drawing and I will select this particular point as the point of origin. Now I'll point in this direction and give the X direction and then just press the space bar to accept this particular point. So now this has become my origin point, the point of origin, and this is the 0, 0 point from which all the centers of the walls will be measured. Now for drawing the center lines, let us do a small construction first before we actually start drawing the centers. For that, what we'll do is we'll go and draw some temporary lines on this particular drawing. So I'll go here and draw a diagonal from this point to this point. That is first line. Second, I will draw another line from point which is the diagonal here. Now why I'm doing this you will come to know shortly. Then I'll draw a diagonal line here. These are all temporary lines which I'm drawing. Then I'll draw a diagonal line here. Then another line here. And then one possibly I will require it here. And then I will require some temporary line here. Right. Now why were these temporary lines drawn? These temporary lines were drawn to find out the midpoint of this particular wall in the x direction and also in the y direction. So now let us start making the center line plan for this particular plan. So for that we are going to use the option called as ordinate dimension in the dimension options which we have. So you go to this particular symbol here which we call as the ordinate dimension and click on it. So it will ask you to specify a feature location. So let us go to this particular diagonal line which we have drawn and let us just hover this mouse here till we come to the midpoint. As you know, this triangle is indicating the midpoint. So just click on it and just drag the mouse down till you come down and you will see that the center line dimension has already been entered here. So what we will be getting is the first center line dimension of this particular wall. Now let us go to the next wall which is going to be this wall. Again we have drawn this temporary line, so it has become very easy for us to pick up the midpoint. We go to ordinate dimension again, then we pick up the midpoint here, and then again drag this this dimension down till we reach this point, and we have got the center line dimension for this particular wall. Let us repeat the process for this particular line. Again, here this is the diagonal line along which we will be measuring the midpoint or taking the midpoint, and so this is the midpoint. Now we will be going down here and just entering this dimension here. So as you can see, we have drawn these three dimensions which are the center lines along the XX direction. Let us complete the same type of dimensions for this wall, and this wall. So let us do the same procedure again. Ordinate dimension, go to this diagonal, take the midpoint, drag it down, and this is the dimension here. Next we'll go back to this point, pick the ordinate dimension, pick this as the diagonal line, drag it down, and here we are. Now the last wall is remaining here, so we will just simply go here, go to the ordinate dimension, pick up the midpoint, and just simply drag this down, and again we have got this dimension. So now what you will see is that we have now picked up the center lines of all the walls along the XX axis. The center lines here which are seen here are from the origin point, that is the point which we see in the corner where we are seeing the X and Y coordinates. Now let us repeat the same procedure for the YY direction. So let us go to the ordinate dimensions again, pick midpoint, zoom to go and pick the midpoint. So here what happens is just simply say midpoint and you pick up this midpoint. So right, so this is going to be the midpoint. I drag it out here. So this is 1. Go back to this particular ordinate dimension here, pick the midpoint, drag it out. 2. Go here, go to the ordinate dimension, pick the midpoint here, drag it out. So we got it here, and again repeat the same procedure for this line, midpoint, take it out and drag it out here. So as you will see now, we have got the YY direction, the center lines in the YY direction for all the walls. So what we have done is successfully completed the center line plan for this particular building by using the ordinate dimension method. Now we'll just quickly revise what we did. So the first thing that we did was that we picked up the point of origin by going to the command called as UCS and establishing this particular point as the origin. Second thing that we did was that we drew temporary lines across like this along the diagonals and along some of the points along the thickness of the wall to get the midpoints of the walls. So we did that temporary lines, and once that was done, then we picked up the ordinate dimension option here and we picked up the midpoint of these lines and simply dragged the dimensions down, and we have got the dimensions in the XX and YY direction. So I hope this was clear to you. We'll see further about more working drawing tips and tricks in coming videos. Thank you.